for me, I'm worried that they're going to have a third Death Star. That's my big concern. I'd rather not go through another Death Star.
Yeah.
The music and the sound effects are amazing.
Yeah,
On all
and I feel like I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if he's not a villain in it now, even though it's also sad, of course, and tragic. But
It's not going to be your standard hero arc that you see in most of these adventure movies. Like even, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. It was one of my favorite movies of the past few years. But once again, it kind of goes to the same arc. Here's a big muscular white guy who loses his mom and discovers he has these secret powers, and he's figuring it all out.
Now, I have a pretty good feeling this is going to be the biggest movie of all time.
All right, so welcome back to what is not episode 2 of Friday Nights in the Library, but what is now called Infininerds. Did I get it right? We were practicing this.
Infininerds.
Infininerds! I knew I was going to mess that up. Anyway, that's okay. Yeah. They're making. I have a southern accent. We'll talk about that later. So last time we talked about Star Wars the movie and our expectations of it. This time we're going to review it. I'm Michael. I'm back, and this is
Matt.
Howdy. I'm Bruce. Bruce. Yeah, and we all actually the three of us got to see the movie together in a 4D theater. So the shots were like flying around us, and the water was coming. So it was kind of a weird experience.
Yes, very strange.
But it was nice. So we'll just give you our thoughts on the movie. So we're just going to start with a really simple thing. What did y'all think? What did you think of the movie? What was your first impressions when you left the theater?
Happiness.
Holy crap. I can't believe they killed him off.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we should say that. There will be spoilers.
And happy they didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. You talk about the happiness. What made you happy? What was it that you liked?
Seeing the old characters, seeing the old guard, definitely the shot of Han and Chewie coming into the Falcon for the first shot. It's really fun, for sure. The idea that I was back in the Star Wars universe again felt really good. Which I felt even with the prequels. I was just happy they were making these movies. And this one, they actually made a good movie in that universe, so I was very happy.
Yeah, it was really visceral, and the pacing.
It's perfect.
Yeah. The casting.
Yeah, I thought the casting was great.
Mentioned before. Yeah.
I think my favorite part, when I realized I was going to enjoy this, was when Poe and Finn, when Finn rescues Poe, and their interaction, and I was like, I like those two guys together. I never felt that way about 1, 2, or 3.
For sure.
Right? There was never any chemistry in it. But when I saw those two together and the way they were babbling on, I was like, hey, I could watch a movie with just those two.
Yeah, the cop movies.
Right? Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I thought the casting of the new people and the way they interacted with the old people was
The best part of this
really
movie.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Jan Hart.
They did have art.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver. Adam Driver blew me away, as Rilo. Just simply because I tried to watch Girls, and my biggest complaint about Girls was him. I just didn't like him.
Because he's so unlikable.
Yes, well, he is. He's so unlikable in that.
Something about him, yeah.
He has a very punchable face. He really does. He has a very punchable face. And, I mean, it's better than mine, but it's still very punchable. But the point is, he comes in there, and he was totally different. And the physicality with which he played that role. I liked the fact that he struggled. And I don't know if anyone, I was surprised at how well he pulled that off. Right? We had never really seen a bad guy struggle in this universe. I mean, we saw Anakin calm, but Hayden Christensen was so robotic that you never got to see that internal struggle.
He was on the good side of the Force,
Yeah.
being pulled to the dark side. Kylo Ren was on the dark side, being pulled to the good side.
Yeah.
It's an interesting twist.
It's really good. And so the movie was as much about his coming to recognize his power as it was about her coming to recognize her power in a way. And I liked that. I liked that change. So I guess the next question is, so we obviously all liked it. What were your favorite things, and then what were things you would change?
Favorite things. Yeah, there's so many. I can't really think of any to start off with. How about you?
The favorite things, special effects are great. The pacing of the story was great. 3 new people, probably my favorite part of the movie. What I would change, all of those homages to the original. In the LA Times review, it called this movie. They called this movie an act of plagiarism of episode 4. I wouldn't go as far as that. It was definitely, these tropes were definitely an homage to the original. Not an
Like
act
the
of
Death Star.
plagiarism. Right.
What were the other ones?
The
that came to
droid
mind?
lost on a desert planet.
Right.
Carrying a secret, adopted by the main character who's going to learn about the Force. And at the end, they blow up this big, round, destructive ball. Which movie am I talking about? The 1977 or this movie?
It's interesting because when you start looking at the history of Star Wars and the way that this one was made, they didn't have a script, right? Like there was no script. They got J.J. Abrams to shoot it. He says, I got to make this in 6 months, and they had no script. So they brought in the guy that helped Steven Spielberg write it.
Yeah,
They throw it out to him. Yeah, and he just kind of writes. Like there is a lot of homages, but I think it's because of the speed of the script, right? And you were talking about the things that I would change. To me, are even the things that were probably a little different than the first one. Like I didn't really like the whole pirate scene when they go to the tavern / temple area. And the way that the cantina, and I didn't, the way that she first interacts with the lightsaber, I just didn't get it. It wasn't bad. It was when I left, it wasn't what I thought about, right?
It felt a little forced.
Right.
No pun intended.
Well, the pun is intended. But what I liked was the written dialogue was good.
The interaction was great.
Right. The story is the same story, really, in all 6 movies, in a lot of ways. All 7 now. But the dialogue was good. And we haven't had good dialogue in a Star Wars movie in a long time.
Yeah. The prequel dialogue was definitely the worst part of that experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And I liked, you were talking about seeing Han Solo and Chewbacca come in. Holy smokes, that was an incredible scene.
Yeah.
And that whole thing when the traitors come and get them, and they first meet our heroes, and they're all in there, and the creatures get loose, and they're just running around. I didn't care what movie I was watching. I didn't care if it was Star Wars or whatever. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Daisy Ridley's character acquiring the Force with no training just felt a little bit wrong to me. Felt a little bit off that it was coming so quickly. That was the biggest thing that.
Do you find it weird? Because we have a lot of, because I've heard what you were saying about a lot of people complaining about the homages, and then the one thing that they really did different was her getting the Force quickly, because everyone else has to be trained in it.
Yeah.
And then everyone's complaining about that too. So I think that's going to be a problem in whatever they do. There's going to be this balance of doing too much new, but at the same time relying on too much that's old. Like they're going to have to figure out a way to balance that.
I was thinking J.J. Abrams had a very difficult job because of all of our expectations, but he had a very easy job. Just don't muck it up. Just
keep it the same, but make it different.
Yeah, just keep it the same, and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the Gerald Ford presidency, where all he had to do was restore honor to the presidency after Nixon left office, and Lucas left Lucasfilm, and J.J. Abrams restored honor and balance to the Force.
There you go.
I also think that one of the best things they did is they looked at their 3 older actors. They said, there's Mark Hamill, there's Carrie Fisher, there's Harrison Ford. Let's make this first movie about Harrison Ford, because he can steal at 70-something carry a movie.
And he only wanted to make the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And were you surprised when he died?
I actually was. Yeah. I know you weren't. You saw it coming, but I thought that he was going to bring Kylo over, and then there was going to be a bit of a struggle, and he was going to maybe
Blasters going off, they escape.
maybe go to the good side for a little bit, and then struggle a bit more, and then go to the dark side. So, yeah, it actually shocked me. I was like, did a gasp. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about that scene too was the way that Adam Driver plays it later, because if you notice, little things throughout that movie where like Han Solo keeps telling Chewbacca, "Man, you're a what's it called?
Crossbow.
Your crossbow blaster is awesome," and then he shoots him in the side with it. And throughout that last scene, people complain about her being able to beat him, but he's constantly beating that side because he was just shot with the most powerful blaster that we've seen in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And so I like that those little throwaway scenes of Han Solo and Chewbacca talking about how powerful it is came into play in the end. That shows that there was at least some thought and connection. I liked that he died. I thought him dying was what needed to happen. The movie doesn't need to be about him.
Added some pathos to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did have some pathos.
I didn't expect it, but as soon as I saw that bridge, I thought, oh crap, he's gone.
Yeah, for me, it was when they called him Ben.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had just rewatched.
Watch to that.
I just rewatched number 4, and realized, oh yeah, they called Obi-Wan Ben in that one. So that was when I realized he's going to die. So now let's do this. What do you expect in the future? What are your predictions for the characters? What are your predictions for the movies? Because J.J. Abrams done now.
Yeah,
It's passed
different
on.
directors for the next 2.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's like Empire with the new director. It's the good one. Like Lawrence Kasdan made Empire. That was the best of the 3. And this new guy, I don't even know who it is.
I forgot too.
Yeah, I just saw it too, but I forgot.
If only
Ryan
I had
Johnson.
a device that could. Yeah, something with Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
You're right.
I don't know what he's
What
made.
has he done?
his movies.
You know what? I can tell you in just a second though. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
What about Leia not having training her forces to be a Jedi?
I was a little disappointed about that.
Yeah.
Not her character, but I wish she had more to do.
Yeah, I thought she would have develop the Force.
Which
Yeah.
is the way they were leading at the end of Return
Yeah.
of the Jedi. She should have been training with Luke. And he said he was going to help train her or something like that at the end of Return.
You're right. It's Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
Hmm.
And he's made what movies?
I'm looking it up right now. Looper.
Never saw it.
Yeah, that was a good movie. The Brothers Bloom, which is kind of a.
Never saw it.
Yeah, it's a good movie too. One called Brick that I never saw, but I heard was good.
All right,
So yeah, Looper's
Kind of
really. Yeah, I liked Looper a
time
lot.
travel stuff.
Yeah, it's a good movie. He did some Breaking Bad. Yeah, no,
Good
I
TV
think
show.
it'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just happy these movies are being made. In the Rolling Stone interview, they made a point of saying, these are not great movies. We don't love these movies because they're great movies. They're great movies because we love them. It's got this following and this amazing fan base that we get excited about. So,
I have a cough. I apologize for
that's
that.
okay, we're all set.
You just kind of hit on it. Like, I don't want to go see a movie. I want to go hang out with characters that I like.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the most is I want to hang out with them again. Especially Finn. Man, that guy nailed it. He nailed it.
There's going to be more Poe.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
Finn and Poe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those. All right. So we had some camera difficulties. You can cut that out. But we had some camera difficulties. We're going to come back. We were talking about when we were out. One of the more interesting conversations we had began with the idea of the scene where she touches the lightsaber and has the flashback. And you were talking. I didn't catch this, but you were talking about how it was an homage to the second one.
Well,
to
it
the
was
fifth
reminiscent
one.
to me of when Luke's in the cave in Empire and he sees Darth Vader's face reflected back to him. And at the time, it just felt out of place, and I was like, "What? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Why is this in this movie?" And then later on, it was sort of after a couple of years, I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay. His struggle with the dark side, becoming his father, this sort of fear of becoming your father. He didn't know he was his father at that, or that Darth was his father." So maybe that as time passes, maybe that scene where she has the
Those
lightsaber.
flashbacks. And so to me, that means that she's probably going to be Luke's daughter because of just the connection there with the lightsaber. And maybe not. I personally hope not. I'll say this better than I said it when the camera was off. The idea of Luke having intimate relationships or a one-night stand, I just can't take it. Like, he doesn't strike me as that kind of person. Like his attempts to hit on Princess Leia are like, well, as you said, a wet blanket earlier. They're just cold.
Yeah, or just like a puppy dog. Like he's totally like out of his league and just.
He's one of those people that I'm so, like when you watch 4 and 5 and 6, you're like, how in the world is he ever going to find a wife? like he just like he's so dramatic and everything is so much about him.
Yeah,
right?
and so whiny.
He's
in the
very
first one.
whiny.
Yeah.
He's very whiny.
Yeah.
And so as you were saying, I kind of hope it's Obi-Wan, just because, Obi-Wan being drunk one night at the cantina and.
Yeah, the order's destroyed.
Yeah,
What
he
good are
walks
my
into-
vows? Just hang out at the cantina.
He's got the swagger.
Yeah.
He walks in there and
Let's be honest.
one thing leads to another.
Him, as old as he was, in the fourth one was still more sexy than
What you get with Mark Hamill these
Luke.
days?
Yeah, than Mark Hamill. Right? Like even back then, at 70 something, he had more sex appeal than Mark Hamill did.
Return of the Jedi, when he has more confidence and he comes in and he confronts Jabba, that's when he's
Maybe.
at the apex of maybe where
Right.
he could be attractive.
But if she's...
But still.
Yes, she could be attractive. But if she's... I can't believe we're going down this rabbit hole. But how old is she? Like, she's supposed to be 19 or 20, right? So
Yeah,
if he's...
right.
If there's like 20-something years or 30 years between these two movies...
Okay, so could it be Obi-Wan then?
It can't
No,
be
it can't
Obi-Wan.
be
He's already
Obi-Wan.
gone.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's a granddaughter.
Granddaughter, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if
it
it's
has
far
to be
enough back in
Luke.
time,
So after they destroy the Jedi Order and Luke is just traveling around, this is what happens?
well,
Or
then maybe
maybe
the same
before?
thing we're speculating with Obi-Wan. Maybe, like the Thals are no
Yeah,
good
that's
anymore. The Force
Or maybe one of the kids, when Ren comes back, that they talk about that he was training Ren, maybe the one of the kids was his and he never let anyone know, and that one was saved, and Ren didn't kill them all.
Yeah, it could be some
You know.
totally new idea. She's a manifestation of the Force.
Yeah, right.
But I just get back to the fact that Luke having relationships is something that just blows my mind.
He's like a priest in training.
Yes.
In a
And he's
monastery.
just so awkward.
Yes. Yeah.
Even at the end of this one, when just his turnaround, it's like, oh, I get why they chose Harrison Ford to do this movie.
Yeah.
They wanted to start out with the guy who can act.
The bulk of it.
Yes.
That scene kind of went off too long. Just show a glimpse of him and then that's it.
I mean, the build-up was too long, or that it didn't result.
The shot of him on that cliff
Oh, okay.
that they shot in Ireland, this drone shot around the island and
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
on going. I thought,
With
yeah,
so much build-up, there should have been more at the end of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just.
if he used
just
the Force and he
pause.
brought the lightsaber over and says, yeah, okay, now we're talking, or something.
Or shot her.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. If he had turned around,
If he could join the dark side,
No.
then. Yeah.
I'm not back.
Yeah.
Every time I think about it, it pulling me back in.
Yeah.
something like that. There wasn't really any emotion in him at all.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that it's Chewbacca and C-3PO sitting down there at the bottom when she walks up. Because it is sort of like this, she's becoming this
Very nice
bridge.
homage, yeah.
Yeah, it's, as if the whole movie was. All right, so final thoughts. What are your final thoughts, just in general? I'll get mine first.
Sure.
It was fun. That's really all that matters to me. The story was fun. I'm interested to see what happens. We're asking these questions. We're having conversations. At the end of 1, 2, and 3, I never had these. I mean, my wife fell asleep in every movie when I took her. She won't fall asleep in this one.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was just fun. And the actors were good. And that makes up for a lot.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it felt like a Star Wars movie again. And I'm excited to see what happens next. Hopefully the next one will be better. Even better with like the plot, overall continuity of what's going on with the characters. I'm hoping for an improvement in that. But overall, I'm really hopeful with the chemistry that's there between the actors. It's good.
I love the fact that people love talking about this movie. It brought on a lot of debate and discussion. And that's a lot of fun. It was an event, and I'm just glad to be back in this universe again, because it is like being a kid again for me.
No doubt.
All right, so to end this week, we're going to try something a little different. Give us maybe just a couple of sentences or just a couple of thoughts on what you're into now. What are you watching? What are you reading? Something outside of the Star Wars universe that has you excited. And we'll start with Bruce. What do you got, Bruce?
Definitely looking forward to the second season of Daredevil. And a lot of TV. I just got to catch up on a lot of TV watching. Stay-at-home dad. Looking forward to just binge watching a lot. I'm missing that. I can't let my kids watch.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the first season of Daredevil. I'm watching Jessica Jones right now. I'm really enjoying that.
I don't watch a lot of TV, so I can't really say any of those. I do watch The Flash. What I've been most excited about is I have a thick anthology of the first 10 years of Doctor Strange and I love Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'm excited about that movie, and I love the comic book anyway. So just going back and reading that, I just read like 4 or 5 a night because they're easy reads, and I just like it. I just enjoy it.
Steve Ditko art.
Yeah, Steve Ditko art. Stan wrote it.
Nice.
So it's been fantastic. So that's it for us. May the force be with you.